There's finally light at the end of the tunnel in the long-running political crisis in Rivers State. The Minister of the FCT and former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has confirmed that his rift with current Governor Siminalayi Fubara has been resolved thanks to a peace meeting brokered by President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. Speaking after the closed-door meeting, Mr. Wike said both sides have agreed to bury their hatchet and work together as one political family. He described the resolution as final, adding that everything is over. Governor Fubara also confirmed the truce, calling it divine intervention and a crucial turning point for the state. But this reconciliation comes months after high drama. Back in March, President Tinubu suspended Governor Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and members of the State Assembly for 6 months, citing the failure of earlier peace efforts. A state of emergency was declared, and retired Naval Chief Ibok was appointed to oversee the state's affairs. Now, following Thursday's meeting with Mr. Fubara, Mr. Wike and the suspended lawmakers, the governor said the move signals a return to peace and order in the oil-rich state. This is the second meeting between President Tinubu and Governor Fubara since that suspension. Earlier this June, Governor Fubara had visited the president in Lagos during his 2-week stay in what many saw as a first step toward reconciliation. For more on this development, our correspondent Uche Okoro joins me on the Midday News. Uche, how are residents of Rivers State receiving this news of a truce between Governor Fubara and Mr. Wike?
Ambassador, there is a cautious optimism in Rivers State because, this is not the first time that we are getting reports of reconciliation. In the last few months, as you earlier pointed out, there's been a lot of efforts, a lot of visitations, a lot of meetings, a lot of interactions, a lot of closed-door negotiations and discussions over this crisis. So residents of the state are not new to what we are hearing again has come from the presidential villa last night. Recall that in December 2023, the president made his first intervention that gave rise to the 8-point resolution, which, rather than resolve the issues, plunged the state into yet another phase or even into deeper crisis. Because then the discussion then was this is a political solution. This is not a constitutional solution. That gave rise to a lot of other controversy. So here again now we're having another report of a reconciliation. While this is being celebrated amongst the political class, residents of the state are quite cautious, saying that they would not celebrate yet until these leaders come back to the state and begin to actually work together. Right now, people are saying, oh, we can hear it, we can't see it. So we are happy they can hear it. People are expecting to see it when these gentlemen come back to Rivers State and see how they're going to work together. This is not the first time we're hearing this, so we expect to see how this is going to play out now. Implementation is very key. But what I can tell you is that amongst the political class, there seems to be a renewed drive towards peace this time. I've spoken to a number of persons who was at that meeting, and the key thing that one of them has said to me is, Uche, I may not be able to come out and talk in the media right now. It's a bit too early, it's a bit premature. What I can tell you to take to the bank is that I was in that meeting, I attended that meeting, and I can tell you that in his words, we have resolved all these issues and peace has returned to Rivers State. So that's where we are. Like I said, these are just words. Yet again, another effort at reconciliation. People are waiting to see if indeed they would match their words with action.
All right, but more generally, Uche, talk to us about governance in Rivers State, especially since the retired Vice Admiral Ibok took over. Only recently, the state's budget was approved. Talk to us about that.
Ambassador, in Rivers State, there's well, that no matter how well the state of emergency has been going, in quotes, as regards governance, it cannot be compared to when the elected officials are in the office doing what they were elected by the people to do. So opinions are divided. Assessments have been very, very divided. While some people are celebrating the performance of the sole administrator so far in the last 3 months plus, There are others who have said that governance has come to a standstill in the state. So it is two ways. I'm not in a position to give my own opinion, but I can tell you that there is a sharp division in the state right now as to the quality of governance that Rivers has experienced in the last 3 months. But we expect that with what has happened now, things begin to take a different shape. Projects can begin to be implemented. Contractors who were being owed, projects that were stalled, the number of them that were stalled as a result of what has happened will resume. They will get their payments and all of that. So it's just a few days ago since that budget was passed. So we expect to see that things to begin to turn around. But people are also expecting that beyond this peace deal, beyond the signing of the budget, for those who are clamoring for the governor and the assembly members to return, there was an expectation they would return on May 29th. There was also a lot of expectation that it would be called off on the 12th of June. But now, this has what has happened now. This has further opened up optimism, reignited optimism amongst the electorate that the state of emergency will be called off. We do not know what the implication of this deal, this reconciliation is going to be. But I think that one key thing that people will be looking out for in the state would be what would be Mr. President's next move.
All right.
This reconciliation implies that this state of emergency will not get to 6 months? Does it imply that any moment from now we can expect a return of democratic institutions? I think that's one very key thing that members of the electorate will be looking out for.
All right, Uche, and very briefly, give us a description of what the streets look like. We know that when the sole administrator took over, we noticed, for instance, that there was an armored personnel carrier right in front of the government house. And, we had the deployment of troops and all of that. What is it looking like months into his administration?
Well, I tell you, if you come to Port Harcourt, if you come to Rivers State, I know that the persons who are outside Rivers State, who are outside the country, think of Rivers State as a war zone, that we're walking around with our hands raised up in the air. But I can tell you nothing of such. The atmosphere has been really calm. I think apart from the first 1 week, couple of weeks of the state of emergency, maybe 3 weeks if I want to stretch it that far. Beyond those first 3 weeks, I think nothing much has changed. Everywhere the atmosphere is calm. Initially, we had, of course, armored personnel carriers going around, show of force, military presence. But right now, I speak to you, everywhere is very calm. Everywhere is very calm. There is no cause for alarm. The state isn't militarized. Security personnel are going about their usual activities of policing and securing the state. Nothing is out of the ordinary. I think apart from who is sitting in the government house right now and the fact that the House of Assembly has been comatose in the last 3 months, nothing else has changed in the state. The atmosphere in the state is very, very calm as I speak to you, Abosede.
All right, Uche, I think we're back to that time when we get to have you on the news just about every day to give us updates on goings on in Rivers State. Thank you very much for that very robust conversation we've just had. Uche Okoro for us in Port Harcourt, Rivers State.